But here's where I think it gets tricky. Even though I think that is probably the smartest choice to believe in, there's also a giant like question mark that we haven't answered yet, which are black holes, right? Because let's be real. Every possible concept of physics, time, matter, space
doesn't apply in a black hole.
Doesn't apply to black hole. So could it be possible that a black hole is almost like the destructive forces that we experience here on Earth? Volcanoes, earthquakes, fire, right? There are things that destroy. So could it be possible that a black hole taking in all that energy does something to bend the dimension in which that energy can exist? And does that dimension that we're now in have completely different physics and completely different principles? Possible.
So it's interesting you say that things that are destructive, right?
Yeah.
And you listed volcanoes because one of the kids I babysit, he's 3 and he's really into volcanoes right now. And so we watch a ton of volcano stuff on YouTube. Like I play him volcano videos and he loves it. And one of the things we were talking about is because first of all, I didn't want to traumatize him, right? But we were talking about what volcanoes do. And yes, volcanoes are incredibly destructive, but they create so much.
Yeah.
Like volcanoes create land. Yeah. They create fertile ground. They produce life. So yes, to us, a volcano is destructive because it destroys houses and people. But to the world as a whole, a volcano isn't destructive.
Right.
It's incredibly creative.
Yeah.
It creates like formations.
That's a great word for it.
It creates like whole countries. It creates fertile ground for stuff to grow. So we just see it as destructive because to us as humans, it hurts. Lava, ouch, burn. But to the planet, it's really beneficial.
Right. And they're comparable. Because think about the physics and the forces in the center of the earth. If we lived in the center of the earth in the magma, right? And we had to pass through something to get to a whole new tier, like a whole new dimension of something, right? We pass through a volcano, all of a sudden we have different gravitational forces, we're dealing with elements, we're dealing with different exposure. So what I'm saying is that there are 2 worlds that a volcano connects. The world that we live on and the world in the center of the earth. Could a black hole be the same thing? Where
black
we go through a
scare
passing?
Me like that. I don't know. What do you think happens when you go through a black hole? Like, is it just you're like over, or like do you think you go somewhere else?
I personally don't think. Well, I think
I have like genuine nightmares about falling in a black hole because that terrifies me.
I don't think it does what we think. I think like on paper, this is what we see. It stretches you out so thin that it's each individual atom becomes
just destructs you.
Like so you're strung out like spaghetti. But I don't know if that's true. You know?
So wild.
I don't know if that's true. Here's the other argument, though. We've never found a black hole that's emitting energy, have we? Like we've never found a black hole that's shooting things out. The closest thing we have to that is a quasar. You know what this is?
No.
This is the craziest shit ever. So imagine the largest celestial explosion possible. And it's called a quasar. And it's almost like a star that collapses on itself.
We were talking last episode about weird words that make nice names for people.
Quasar would be Quasar would be so good.
My son Quasar. Yeah.
Be like, whoa, he's a genius. Yeah. I know. You know, Quasar. But yeah, it blows up, and so it's 2 beams coming out each side, like 2 jets, and it's just spilling out an insane amount of energy. And then that slowly spins, and that becomes the Milky Way.
Marvin, what have you discovered? Because you look terrified right now.
Marvin's covering his mouth. What are you seeing?
No. Later.
Are you just going into like a
He's still watching the guy fuck the car.
Are you going into like a black hole of black hole stuff right now?
No, I'm on Pornhub. Because I can't find it, but I have to show you something.
Okay, all right. God. Well, that's interesting.
This is so funny.
Space is so baffling. And now all this discovery of water on all these moons.